Hello! In this video I'm going to demonstrate how you can create visuals similar to the ones Weirdcore makes for Aphex Twin's live shows using Ableton Live. This is just a short introduction. If you want to jump straight ahead to the start of the tutorial, you can just skip ahead to the next chapter. So I'm going to be using some software called ZwoBot, which is a suite of Max for Live devices that you can use to create visuals for your music inside Ableton. In this video, I'm not going to be going into how to use ZwoBot and what all the modules do and how they work, but I do have a series of tutorials that goes into that. So if you want to watch tutorials on how ZwoBot works and what all the different devices and modules do, you can watch that playlist and I'll put a link to that in the top right corner of the screen. So the purpose of this video isn't to exactly replicate what Weirdcore and Aphex Twin have already done. It's simply to provide you with some inspiration and places to start if you want to create your own visuals to have a similar aesthetic. Okay, so the effect that I'm going to be taking inspiration from is this one. So this is taken from Aphex Twin's Warehouse Project show in Manchester in 2017. If you want to watch the full show, the link is in the description. There's a camera on the audience, so that's what we're seeing. And you can see that they're being split up into these different pixelated squares, and it's kind of moving around, and in some cases the image is being duplicated. So this is the effect that we're going to be taking inspiration from in this video. Let's just pause that. So I'm in Ableton 12 here, and the version of ZwoBot that I'm working from is version 2.95, which is the latest version. If you want to buy ZwoBot, there's a link in the description, so click on that link and it'll take you straight to the page with the full suite, which includes all of these effects devices here. So first things first, I am going to bring in my ZwoBot Player, and I've just got one audio track here, so I'm just dragging that onto the audio track, and you're going to get this output window. So this is going to show my video output, and I've got my player here, and I'm also going to bring in the monitor device. I'm going to drag that before the player just because I like to use this to quickly set a ratio that works for me. You can do it this way, but then you're going to lose the aspect ratio, whereas using this is going to keep the aspect ratio as 69, which is what I want. Okay, so I'm going to minimize that. There's a few different modules that can do something similar to this, so I'm just going to experiment with them and see which one I like. So the first one I'll try is this, I think it's this one, VAudio. So I'm just going to drag that in, and I'm going to click on the icon here to connect it to my player, put it in the middle just in case I want to put something on top of it. I'll just select that and turn it on to activate it. I'm going to press play. I'll mute the audio for now. So you can see that we're getting these pixelated squares with this, which is why I think it might work. And I'm going to turn the texture button on, but first I need some sort of video to go under here. So just to demonstrate this, what can I use? Do I have... Let's just use these faces. This is the video that I'm using. I'll speed it up a bit, and actually I'm going to make it jump to a random frame every note, just to make it move across the people a bit quicker. Okay, so if I turn that effect on, we can see at the moment it's just got these black and white squares. So if I want the effect to apply to the video underneath, I need to turn texture mode on, and then that is going to apply the effect as a texture map on the image. So I mean, already that's kind of doing something similar to what we've got here, but we can play about with it a bit more. And I'm going to start playing this audio now. So this is a track by an artist called Lifting Gear Engineer. The track is called View Low, and I'll put a link to the Bandcamp page for this album. The album's called Space Between in the description. So if you like it, head over to the Bandcamp page. It's released on a record label called Machine Records, which have lots of great electronic stuff on there. So I'll also put a link to their Bandcamp page if you would like to check them out. So let's just unmute this. Okay, so this is cool, but it's very kind of repetitive, whereas we want something a bit more erratic that's moving around and changing up a bit. So maybe we could play about with the density. We could set that to have a beat control. So we need to switch this on. And now every note, that's going to change to a random number. So we're having some variety in the density there. We could also try playing about with maybe this stretch setting. That doesn't seem to be doing much. Can I see? No, it doesn't say what that does. What about this plus and minus? I haven't really used this module much before, so I don't know much about it. So we could have this axis setting change. There's no way to change it within the module, so we can apply an LFO to it. So let's grab an LFO and let's map that to this. Oh, for some reason, when I dropped that LFO in, it disconnected the device. Not sure why that happened. There we go. I'm going to change this to square. So now we can see that that's changing between the X and Y axes, and we can change the rate if we want it to be faster or slower. And then we can play about with this speed dial. Maybe I'll also map that to the LFO. Not really sure what this stretch dial does, so I guess I'll just leave that the default setting. And I don't really know what that does either. Can we see axes, direction, plus minus? Probably need to do a bit more experimentation to figure that out. I'm just going to leave it at that for now. Run mode. Oh, run mode is going to break the whole thing. Okay, so that's one thing you can do. Now, there is also this VSine module. I'm going to try, let's turn this off for now, and then I'll try combining them later. So this is another little error that I found happens. The drop down menu stopped working. Oh, there we go. Okay. You have to just keep going and eventually it'll start working, but I have reported that, so hopefully it'll be fixed soon. Let's play the audio again. So with this VSine module, same thing where we put it to the texture mode. Otherwise you're just going to see colors, so put that texture mode on, and I'm going to pick this square wave, and let's see. So this is kind of something similar. Maybe we can have some audio reactivity. can we get it? Maybe if we also change the wave. I'm just experimenting here and kind of seeing what we can do. What about the density if we set that to response to the BPM? That's interesting. So if I turn on the VAudio now as well, let's see what they look like combined with each other. What about if I put the VSine underneath the VAudio module? Oh wait, I need to turn it on there. There we go. It's interesting, but it's not quite the effect that I'm looking for. What if I put it on top again? No. I mean, that is closer to what I want. I'm wondering if maybe actually I'll turn off the speed here from the LFO and just keep it Okay, so I'm not convinced by this VSine, so I'm going to turn it off for now. I'm also going to turn off this VAudio one again, because I think potentially a more effective way to get this effect is using the tiles device. So let's have a look at that. I'm going to slow this down a bit, actually. Let's just move these down and let's put this tiles module here, and we're getting this annoying drop down thing, and I've just lost that. So oh, there we go, tiles, and I want to get that back. Okay, so this tiles module has a few different modes, and the random mode I think is going to be the one that we want. And if we have this reshuffle button, that's going to move things around, I believe. But I'm going to speed up the beat control, which is also going to make this faster. And I'm going to change this shift dial, so that's going to change in accordance with the beat control randomly. And let's bump the number of tiles up, and in fact let's have some audio reactivity in that. So if we go back, so that's doing a kind of similar thing. This also has this kind of flowy effect where there's almost like a trailing effect on the pixels as well. So let's keep this going, but let's try getting a bit of a flow thing going. Maybe I'll slow this down a little bit. How can we do that? We've got a few options. Let's try the Mosh device. So this creates a datamosh effect, which is something that Weirdcore uses quite a lot. I'm going to get rid of this VSine device because I don't think that was doing what I wanted. For some reason this has just completely stopped working now. Okay, let's just try resetting it. There we go. Okay, Mosh on top, and I want the tiles, and I'll keep that one at the bottom. Okay, if I turn this on now, we can turn up this datamosh effect, and you can see we're getting a bit of that. If I turn up the trail stream, we're getting a bit of that datamoshy trail effect. I don't want it to be quite that much. No, not that much. Or I could try putting the texture map on, but no, that's kind of obscuring it a bit too much. What about if I change the effects attractor to black or white? Maybe I'll keep the tiles on a lower setting. I'm not entirely convinced by that. It's sort of there. What I might do, I'm just gonna turn that off. Let's try the trails device, see what that looks like. There we go. I don't want the tiles to start on one, no, I want them to always be at least two, so let's do that. Well, shuffle, let's, no. Checker? No, random. Okay. So, what happens if I put this trails effect on? Okay, so that's kind of coming towards the screen, which is kind of interesting. What if I change this? Let's go back to our original video. So there is a bit of the kind of datamoshy glitchy effect in there. Okay, it's not really this kind of effect. The thing is, as I said at the start of this video, we're not really looking to exactly replicate it, because what's the point in exactly replicating what's already been done? But when you're trying to recreate these effects, you end up finding stuff that is a bit different, but just as interesting. So even though this isn't exactly the same, it's kind of cool anyway. What about if I have this, but I put the tiles on top of it? What will that look like? And if I put maybe some audio reactivity on the contrast setting, it's kind of interesting. Let's go back to the datamosh effect. This is getting a bit messy now. Let's turn that one off. And what about if we have that having some audio responsiveness? Let's put the tiles underneath it again. Okay, what about the trail strength having audio reactivity? That's a bit more like it. So I've got the datamosh effect on top, and the actual datamosh setting is turned about a quarter of the way up, and then the trail strength is responding to the lower frequencies, and then I've got the tiles underneath that. And maybe I'll put let's just see what happens if I also put the audio effect back on. And I turn the tiles off. Or you can have both on. So one other thing that is in the video is that it's kind of duplicating parts of it, so we can see this guy is duplicated here. So I wonder, is that possible in ZwoBot? How might I do that? I know the multi-module will duplicate your input. Let's just turn off the VAudio one for now, and maybe let's try putting it on top. So we can do that, and you can control the amount and the size and density of that. But maybe we want that underneath everything, because we also want that to be having the tile effect on top of it. Size and density. Maybe we want the zoom. Okay, here we go. So we want the zoom to be bigger. It always gets a bit confusing when you're using loads of modules and you're swapping around the signal chain, because it can be quite easy to lose track of what's doing what. Here we go, this is kind of having the desired effect. We're getting duplicated bits of the faces moving around. Do I want the texture button on? Let's keep it like that. That looks good. So the zoom control, which we can play about with. Yeah, this is kind of doing what I want. What about auto rotate? No. And if you want more repetitions, you can just turn this amount up and then we're getting more of them. I could also put it into these shapes here, which is gonna make things even more weird. So if you want to get really crazy, you can start putting them in these shapes. This torus one is quite cool. Oh, there we go. And this is a very Weirdcore Aphex Twin thing, is just morphing faces, distorting them, twisting them up, doing weird things with them. We can have them rotate if we want. About cylinder. It really depends how mad you want to go with them and how abstract you want it to be. If I just put it back to the original plane, which is just going to be on a 2D sort of rectangle shape. And none of these are sound reactive, but we can have an LFO in there if we want it to change. So I'm going to put an LFO and maybe I'll put it on the shape. I'll have it set to random. This issue is being investigated, so hopefully it's sorted in the next ZwoBot update. I don't want it to go through all of them. To do that, you could apply some manual automation and just pick the specific ones you want. But I can't be bothered doing that right now, so I'll just leave it. So now the shape of this multi-device is changing every 2 beats, every 2 notes. But I'm going to get rid of that, and I quite liked the torus. Maybe I'll just, for a second, turn all these other things off. Here we go. Kind of like it when it's going across their eyes. Like that. Okay, anyway, let's go back to what I was originally looking to do. So, plane. Right, I don't want it to automatically rotate. So if we turn this off, what have we got? Yeah, we've got this. Okay, so I can kind of control what I want here. How many do I want? Maybe about 4. Okay, and I wonder what this will look like with the... I'll put this VAudio one back on again. I'm gonna just delete this trails module for now. Maybe I will have this multi-effect come in on and off, so it's not always on, and I'll do that with an LFO. Just map in the device on-off button. I want it to be a square wave. And I'll have it come on maybe like every 4 notes. Let's see what that looks like. So it's off right now. Now it's on. Maybe I'll have it come on and off a bit quicker every 2 notes. Is there anything else here? What else do we have going on? Oh, so there's that. There's a bit here where it does a kind of scrolly bit here. So it looks like the whole thing is scrolling a little bit, so that's something we can introduce. So we can do that with, is it the shift one? I might have to try a few out because I can't remember off the top of my head which one it is. Actually, the Flowscan might be worth trying as well instead of this Mosh effect. I'll do that first, and then we'll come back to the scrolling thing. Just want to see what it looks like with this. So let's put this on top. So this flowy effect is what the Flowscan is doing. I'm just curious to see if that looks better than the datamosh effect. Maybe not. It's a bit too much. Yeah, no. Leave the datamosh one on. Okay, so I'm gonna try this. Which one was it? Shift. So this is gonna shift the entire image. I'm gonna try putting it on top of everything first. There we go. So it's kind of moving it up and down. But we can split it. So we can have parts of it move in. And you can control the speed that each sort of section rotates. So you could have this bit moving quicker than the other bit, which means that each bit is moving separately to the other one, or you can just set them all to the same speed. So maybe I'll have 2, and we'll have them going at different speeds. Oh, you can have one going up and one going down as well. I'll have the speed change in accordance with my BPM. But I don't want this to constantly be on, so let's get an LFO to make it switch on and off. So let's map this to the device on-off button. And I'm going to change it to a square wave. And we'll only have it come on maybe like every 8. Oh, but then it's also going to stay on for 8. Is that what I want? What do I want? Maybe I don't want to use an LFO. Maybe I want to just manually automate this on and off. So I'm going to click that, select it here, and I'm going to have it come on just for 1 bar every 4 bars. There we go. Or it's not every 4 bars. Every 8 bars. So I'll also have it here. I only want it on for 1 bar. On the 8th bar. There we go. Okay. I'll just duplicate that. Let's see what that looks like. So it's off. Then it's on. There we go, it's on there. And it's off again. And I can turn that video audio one back on. I wonder what it looks like if I put that right on top. And you can just play about with shifting these devices around in the signal chain. See how things change. So if I put the Mosh effect right at the bottom, the image is all a bit clearer, whereas if you put it on top, it's a bit more, you get more of that glitchy effect. But if you put it at the bottom, you're going to lose that kind of flow effect that we had. Yeah, I think I like it on top of the tiles effect. But then we could try some sort of blend modes to make it a bit more subtle, maybe. Or just make it a bit more transparent. You can also change the flow adjust, which will alter the direction that flow is going in. So instead of just always going to the bottom right like it was before, now it's kind of changing. And the speed, so if we want to make it a bit slower or faster. And you can change the quality if you want it to be less, well, like less pixelated and messy. You can turn the quality up, or turn it down if you do want it to be more pixelated. Okay, I think I'll leave it at that for now, but like I say, all of these settings can be adjusted to get a nice variety of effects. So if you found this video useful, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. I've got loads more ZwoBot tutorials, including 4 other Aphex Twin related ones on there, so have a look at those. And let me know in the comments if you prefer these longer form videos or if you preferred the ones I was doing before that are a bit more condensed and a bit shorter. Just chuck me a comment and let me know which you prefer.